What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So it's official. Stormblood is now. What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So Final Fantasy XIV is now in its 24-hour maintenance. Stormblood has seen its last days live. It is once the servers come back up, we will be in Shadowbringers, which I am very, very excited about. So I was trying to think about what we could do to fill the time, and I was thinking we could react to some of the other cinematics, the older ones. So we've done 1.0. I did a 1.01. I had a look for the first time. I've never seen that cinematic before. So that was actually a really cool thing to see, especially from I never played 1.0, so it was kind of a cool thing to see. But this time we're going to check out Flames of Truth. So this is not the original cinematic. This is basically a complete sort of the cinematic that you unlock, well, not unlock, but you see in the final cause of Bahamut. This kind of completes that entire trailer in a way. There is like in the one of the other versions, there is like a bit at the end where it's like where the Warriors of Light kind of end up after they get teleported away. So I figured Flames of Truth, we get to see like the entire thing and like how that whole Battle of Carteneau kind of works. So I thought that was a better one to pick. And then yeah, we'll have a little bit of a chat about it and sort of a retrospect on it. So yeah, so let's have a look. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I'm excited for this music. It's one of the best soundtracks in the game. This song. So good. It's so good. This, like not this cinematic specifically, but the one like for Realm Reborn, that got me to play Realm Reborn. Like I was like the music and everything, the hype, it was just, it was so good. Dalamon, man. Project Meteor. Glimpse in its glory days. Ulda. Redania. For those who don't know, this was like the end of 1.0. This was like wrapping that all up. Growlbone looking like a badass. Midlander. Being a boss warrior. Oh yeah, Bard. Still waiting on that Bard shield. Tank boys owning things. Blank Mage. Sid looking a little bit younger there too, a little less grizzled. We're about to kick off here. We're about to kick off. Wait for it. A big boy with the big chest. Bahamut. Boom. So good. Gets me every time. Gets me every time. Why I love reflugen arrows so much on Bard. It reminds me of this. It reminds me of those beams of light and stuff. Freaking Louis Suave, the badass himself. For the 12, I think this is going to play a big part in Shadowbringers. I think the 12 and all this stuff is gonna all come together. So good, man. Every time. Get out of here. Go be badasses somewhere else. Now we see what really happened. So that's the 12, right? They the 12, or is that a Heidelin thing? We're gonna go full Super Saiyan here. Get ready for it. Boom! Boom, 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 boom. So good. Farewell, Super Grandpa. Oh. Then all this ether starts to actually repair Eorzea. So good. So good. So good. So yeah, like, and then if you watch the original Realm Reborn one, it's like when they get teleported away, I think it goes like it shows them like in this new land and like he running around on chocobos and stuff, and it's quite a nice one. But I wanted to watch that one because that's like just such a badass like cutscene. It's one of the best cutscenes in the game. It is so good. And it kind of explains like the whole like how like Eorzea in a way kind of survived all that, and how like the world survived all that. Um, uh, Basically, Bahamut had everyone beat. There was no stopping him. Uh, and then like Louis Soir basically summoning the 12, which is in a way like summoning a primal. That's what, when you do coils, that's kind of how they explain it. It's like I'm no different, like when, because it's a whole thing there, but like I'm no different than the ones that are summoned in all these other primals. I summoned the 12 to do that. And like I said, I think the 12 are gonna like play, like we're kind of gonna get sort of in a way, the truth behind like the 12 and Heidelin and all that a little bit more. I think this is gonna be an expansion of discovery, of learning the truth of things. So that's what I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about that stuff. Like I'm a big lore nerd. I'm a big lore nerd, and I love digging deep into stories and stuff. So that was really really cool. Um, but I mean, like that soundtrack every time, that song every time is so good, so good. It's one of the best songs in Final Fantasy XIV. Probably one of the best songs in Final Fantasy. Like it's that good. Like that song and a combination of some other things, like that pulled me into Final Fantasy XIV. That got me to play Realm Reborn. Um, and I like they definitely needed something like that. Like after 1.0, they pulled the entire game down. They shut it down, and they redid it all. And then 2.0 Realm Reborn is literally rebirth of the game. It was that big. It's very like it's very unprecedented to happen. It's a massive comeback story. Like, you know, like I recommended in my last video, go watch the no clip documentary on Final Fantasy XIV. Like, if you're interested in any of this stuff, like you will realize how serious of the thing it was and what Realm Reborn had to do. And like y'all look at Realm Reborn a little bit different. You'll look at it a little bit different. Like a lot of people just like look at it like it's a slog that you have to get through. But that slog saved so much. Saved the game, saved Square Enix in a way. So, yeah. And we would not have the game we have today if it was not for Realm Reborn. So, um, like I get a little bit frustrated when I hear people banging on it a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, it's not the most exciting like part of the game. It's not, and it shouldn't be. It's the base game. Like if you look at any base game of any MMO, it's always the most boring part. Everyone wants to get to the expansions. People don't want to play the base game. And also like Realm Reborn had to do so much. It had to establish characters, story, where you sit in the world, how the world is. Like they had to kind of like settle everything down from 1.0. It had to do so many things. And also had to teach you the game. It has to do a lot of stuff. And also that story is spread out over a 50 level leveling experience. So it's not going to be like an expansion, which is like a concentrated 10 level, like just, which doesn't have to really establish like the world itself, all these characters. It just has to establish its own part. Like that's why the expansions are so much better all the time, because they can go nuts with it, and they learn from those previous expansions, and they learn from Realm Reborn and 1.0 and all that stuff. So it is like that's why like Realm Reborn does pale in comparison to the expansions, but in a way it should. Like it should always, like the next iteration should always be better than the previous. Like or else you're gonna get things like WoW, which everyone looks to the past and says that was better than what we have now. You don't want that. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You want people to be excited for the next part. And I think that's what 14 does a very good job of. So, you know, that's why everyone's super excited for Shadowbringers. You know, it's the next part in the story. It's the next thing. So, but I mean, like, you look at Realm Reborn and what it did, you look at it in a little bit different light. It's just, yeah. Like, I can understand why people want to get past it. I do. Like they want to use skips or whatever. I get it. But I think it's a, if you really wanted to get into the game, I think it's something that you need to do. Um, but it's your choice. You play the game your way. It's your money, your choice, your game, everything like that. So I can only give my recommendation. But yeah, so I mean, honest, like that's like one of the best cutscenes in the game. So you see that when you do coils, you do the final coils. I think it's the final fight or around abouts that. Maybe it's before the final fight. Might be the second to last fight in final coils. So that was a really cool thing to see. Kind of like just fills in that missing part of what happens when Louis Suave fades away. He just goes super grandpa and just wrecks house. And also like because like it'll link him with the summoner side of it too, I imagine. I'm interested to see the summoner like level 80 class, because that's when you're gonna get your Phoenix summon. So there's something there, and I'm very interested to see that sort of storyline. But that's kind of why I sped up my leveling of summoner, so I have it somewhat near enough to be able to experience that in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I really am. I think it could have some cool story stuff to do with it. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so we're going to be continuing on. We'll head on and do Heaven's Ward next. Experience that cinematic trailer, and then we'll do Stormblood, and then we'll even look at Shadowbringers again, maybe. Just a sort of like hopes and dreams kind of thing, I guess, leading into the launch. Biggest hope is that the launch is smooth. That's all I hope. It's just so many people, though. It's going to be so many people. So first up, big thank you to everyone who's been watching, who's been supporting the channel and stuff. The subs keep going up. It's so cool to see. Thank you guys. We're very quickly getting to 3,000. Another big milestone for the channel. Big thank you to that. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Me geeking out over probably my favorite game at the moment. Like I've been obsessed, to be honest with you. I've been playing pretty much nothing but 14. So I feel like I finally got my MMO. Like I've always been a kind of an MMO nomad. Like I've always just like I'll go join an MMO, play it for a bit, then I'll move on to the next one, and then I'll slowly maybe work my way back around. I'm settling down. I'm settling down in 14, so I'm a happy camper. But yeah, so big thank you for hanging out with me, for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.